Next we got the Thermaltake TR2 430 watt power supply. Comes with new EPS 8-pin connector. Supports Intel Core i7 AMD Phenom processors. Thermaltake 5-year warranty. Eco-friendly. Supports all Intel and AMD processors. Supports all NVIDIA and ATI AMD graphics cards. Industrial grade components. Built-in intelligent fans automatically adjust fan speed according to different temperatures to lower overall noise level for a more enjoyable computing experience. Nice. Technology features. Latest ATX 12V version 2.2 design enables robust and reliable power delivery. Dual fan design, optimum airflow, 80 by 80 by 25 millimeter. One fan outlet, the other fan for intake. One faces back, other faces front. 6-pin PCI Express power connector to support latest graphics card. 8-pin EPS connector enables support for latest Intel and AMD processors today. 115 230 volt slide switch AC input voltage for different countries. Total output connectors: 24-pin main connector, one 6-pin PCI Express connector, one 8-pin 12-volt power connector, two 5-pin SATA connectors, 6 4-pin peripheral connectors, 2 floppy connectors. Alright, so I'll go ahead and open it up. We got, looks like a user manual, different languages. This is a product warranty policy. This is, not sure what this is. Oh yeah, power cord. And mounting screws for the power supply. And we got the power supply itself. As you can see, this is non-modular, nothing fancy. So we got 80mm intake, 80mm exhaust. There's the switch for the different countries. And all the connectors I've already explained. Let's go ahead and show you this so you can see the rating on it. Should be able to see that. If not, 5-volt rail, 24 amps, 3.3 volt, 20 amps, 12 volt, first 12 volt rail, 14 amps, second 12 volt rail, 15 amps, negative 12 volt, 0.3 amps, plus 5 volt SB, 2 amps. So there you go, there's the Thermaltake power supply, 430 watt. Next we have the Asrock Z68 Pro 3 Gen 3 motherboard. Down here it says Trial Media Express 6.0 Espresso Media Espresso 6.5. I guess that's some software. Virtue MVP Green GPU virtualization. It's for the switchable graphics. Lucid Virtue. Intel B3, new B3 stepping chipset, adopted SATA problem fixed. On-off play, PCI Express 3.0, so this is compatible with Intel's 3rd generation Ivy Bridge processors. Extra fast LAN, faster internet access, compatible with Windows 7, supports Intel Core, Intel chipset Z68. On the back we got a lot of stuff here. Dual channel DDR3 up to 2133, premium gold caps, 100% Japan made, high quality conductive polymer capacitors, CCO combo cooler option, PCI Express gigabit LAN, multi VGA output options, D-sub, DVI, dual link, and HDMI. 2 USB 3.0 ports, 7.1 channel HD audio with X True Studio sound, one PCI Express 3.0 by 16 slot, two SATA 3 connectors, next gen PCI Express 3.0 support, higher bit rate, higher bandwidth per lane, higher efficiency, 100% backward compatible with previous PCI Express 2.0 and 1.0 standard. Extra fast USB 3.0 performance comparison. You can see with Cinebench Benchmark 386.14% faster. Cinebench Benchmark 4K. This is read, this is write, 222.73% faster. Here we got extra fast LAN application prioritization, lower latency in game, traffic shaping, real-time analysis of your data. Intel Smart Response technology, will not be using this. Lucid Virtue, will not be using this because we'll only be using the integrated graphics. Intel HD graphics built-in visuals, we will be using this. THX True Studio, we'll be using that. Graphical UEFI, we'll be using that. On-off play technology, even when the system is powered off. In ACPI S5 mode, on-off power play technology still allows users to enjoy the great audio experience from the portable audio devices through the PC speaker. Magic's Multimedia Suite, the ultimate solutions to enhance your media experience. From music management, music creation, video editing, to photo management, simply do more with your media than you've ever thought possible. Excellent. So we'll go ahead and jump right in. Comes with a rear I/O shield, Z68 Pro 3 Gen 3 software setup guide, Z68 Pro 3 Gen 3 quick installation guide. Inside it comes with the driver disc and other software. I don't know if there's a case badge in there or not. So there's that. It comes with two SATA 6 gigabit per second, one with a right angle, one without. And the motherboard itself. Get this out of here. So as you can see here, sorry, my camera, there you go. So you can see the motherboard there. We have DDR3 dual channel memory slots here up to 2133. Here's our VRMs, heatsink. We got 4 SATA 3 gigabit per second, 2 SATA 6 gigabit per second, 24 pin power connector. We have a 8 pin power connector here, CPU fan header here, power fan header here, CPU fan header here, another fan header here, chassis fan. Here's the 1155 socket. We got, this is our PCI Express 3.0 by 16 lane, also compatible with 2.0 and 1.0. We got 1, 2, 3 PCI Express 1 speeds, 2 PCI Legacy slots. We got a chassis fan header here, speaker header, front panel headers, USB 2.0 headers, clear CMOS, another, I'm not sure what that is. I'm not sure what that is either. Clear CMOS switch. This was not the clear CMOS, this is something else. COM header, HD audio, header, HDMI, SPDIF header, looks like, THX True Studio, and looks like it. Here's the Z68 chipset heatsink, VRM heatsink. Moving on to the rear I/O, you can see we got 4 USB 2.0s, 2 USB 3.0s. We got a VGA, DVI, and HDMI output, PS2 output. Here's our gigabit LAN and our 7.1 analog audio, as well as optical audio out. So there's a quick unboxing of all the components we're going to be using, and we'll go ahead and get started on the build now. Alright guys, as you can see, I have installed the processor, the memory, and the CPU cooler. And I went ahead and did this because I wanted to make sure that the CPU cooler would fit inside the case. And these copper heat pipes actually do stick out the side of the case about 1/8 of an inch. But I was able to slide the side panel on no problem, and the side panel actually adds a little more support by pressing up against the heatsink, and in turn helping the pressure on the motherboard from the heatsink, because this is such a big heatsink. So it actually does help. So and that way we get more airflow for the 2500K rather than using the TX3 with the 92mm heatsink and fan. So overall it turned out good, and I'm going to go ahead and leave it as is and continue with the build. Alright, so I got the case here. We're going to go ahead and throw the optical drive in. We'll just go ahead and pop the top bay out, move that to the side, go ahead and slide the optical drive in. Now this isn't a toolless design, so we got to screw these in here. Put 2 screws on either side. Once you got them all snug, go ahead and tighten down. Not too tight. Small threads, so you don't want to strip them out. Alright, so we got the optical drive in, as you can see. Now we're going to go ahead and move over to the power supply. Here we have our power supply. This is a top mounting power supply case, so it's going to go up top here. Go ahead and put a couple screws in so it doesn't fall out. Alright, so as you can see, we've got the power supply in, the optical drive in. Get these wires out the way for a minute. Move on to the case fans. We got 2 80mm case fans. We're going to put in one in the front, one in the back, intake and exhaust. We'll go ahead and start with the intake. So we go ahead and pop the front of the case off with a tug. put the wiring through where you're going to have it. Go ahead and hold it in position. Get a couple screws started to hold it in place. Once you got them all in, same thing, tighten them down a little bit. Now the fans are made out of plastic, so you don't want to tighten them down too much. Just enough to hold them in there snug. So we got the front one on. Go ahead and pop the front cover back on. So as you can see, we got the front fan mounted. Now we're going to go ahead and put the back one on here. Same thing with this. Alright, so we got both case fans mounted, exhaust fan, intake fan, got the power supply, and the optical drive installed. Here's our I/O shield. Just pop this into the back here. Firmly press it in so it clips just like that. Alright, so now we'll go ahead and put the hard drives in. Here we got a Western Digital 320 gigabyte hard drive. I'm going to go ahead and put this one on the bottom. Get the mounting holes lined up. One here, one here. Same thing on the other side. Alright, so as you can see, we got hard drive mounted. And what we got next is our Samsung 830 Series SSD, 64 gigabyte. This case didn't come with a converter, 3.5 inch to 2.5 inch converter, so I had to go ahead and use the one from my Corsair Force 3 SSD. So we'll go ahead and mount this. Same thing as the hard drive. Get it lined up with the mounting holes. Tighten it down. There we go. Now we got two case fans, power supply, optical drive, our hard drive, and our SSD installed. Alright, now that we got everything installed in the case and everything installed on the motherboard, we're going to go ahead, I'm going to bring you in for a closer look. I'm going to tip the case on the side so we can go ahead and install the motherboard. And so we'll go ahead and do that now. Alright, as you can see, we got the case laid down on its side. That way we can easily set the motherboard in. I'm going to go ahead and move all these front connectors out the way. Fan connectors, power supply cables. I'm going to take the motherboard. We've already got the motherboard standoffs in. You want to go nice and slow. Slowly lower the motherboard in and line the rear I/O up with the I/O shield in the back. Once you got them lined up, go ahead and slide the motherboard right on top of where the motherboard standoffs are and start installing The screws, you don't want to tighten them down yet, you just want to get them all started. Again, not too tight. Alright, so there we now have the motherboard installed. Now I'm going to go ahead and flip the case back up to give you a better look. Alright, so as you can see, we got just about everything installed. Actually, this is everything. All we got to do is hook everything up and fire it up. Now this motherboard has got some stickers over these plastic covers over the heat sinks that I'm going to wait until the end to take off, or right before I power it up. But I'm going to go ahead and start connecting these power connectors. Alright, so as you can see, I've got all the cable management done. And I forgot to put the optical drive SATA cable, and I had to put a Molex to SATA power connector on there for the optical drive. But we got everything hooked up now. Now all I gotta do is plug it in and hope it boots up. Alright, so we got everything plugged in, and I got it hooked up to my monitor here. And we're just going to boot it up, make sure everything's working okay. I got the speaker plugged in, so if everything's working okay, we should hear a beep. We're going to go right into the BIOS. Fans are spinning. Okay, so now we're in the BIOS. You can see here, i5-2500K. And right now we're at 3.3 gigahertz. Alright, so we got the computer built, Windows installed, drivers installed, everything checked out fine. I actually delivered the desktop to the client a few days ago, but I was able to get some screenshots, some Cinebench benchmarks that I did when I was overclocking. This one here is at 3.3 gigahertz stock speeds for the 2500K. For the CPU benchmark, we got 5.32 points in Cinebench, and the temps got up to 48 degrees Celsius. Then I overclocked to 4.2 gigahertz. CPU benchmark went up to 6.47. CPU temps got up to 60 degrees Celsius on the cores, 62 degrees Celsius on the socket. Then I overclocked to 4.6 gigahertz. CPU benchmark jumped up to 7.11 points, and temps got up to 77 degrees Celsius on the cores, 80 degrees Celsius on the socket. So I didn't want to go too crazy on the overclock because he is keeping it in a cabinet, and temperatures are getting a little high as it is. He's not going to be doing any CPU intensive applications or anything like that, so I'm not too concerned with the overheating. But anyway, I just wanted to go ahead and do this client build for you guys. Let me know what you think. Be sure to subscribe, leave a comment, and hopefully I'll be getting some videos out of my Lowe-n-Behold build here in the not too distant future. So